Hello there YouTube, I am Wheelchair21 and on today's rolling review it is the Tamashii Nations Bandai S.H.Figuarts Ultraman X and Gomora Armor set based on the character seen in Ultraman X, which aired I believe in 2015 through Subaru Productions and Japan's TBS station, as well as simulcasted on Crunchyroll before being picked up by Toku HD. Now this series is a part of the New Generation of Heroes saga, and in addition, as the new figure art boxes feature, blue for Bandai Spirits for the Bandai logo, as well as a Tamashii Nations quality seal of approval sticker, which is a thing now due to immense bootlegging in the mainland Asian area, due to the fact that we have several Dragon Ball figure art bootlegs being distributed right now as we speak on eBay and other secondhand stores. And on the side of the box, we can also see the cool little profile photo that most of the new Hero Generations figures have for their boxes, as I quickly look to make sure I'm correct. And it's mostly all the New Generations Hero figures, so Geed, Orb Origin, and most likely when we get Zero 2. On the back of the box, we also have the immense detail of the figure from promotional art, as well as sort of a little quick guide to how to install the proper parts to place on your Gomora Armor. Now, the interior features our base figure with the additional parts for the Gomora Armor. You have your 2 shoulder pads, your breastplate, your backplate, your actual Gomora claws, your optional red color timer, and X's base 2 additional pairs of hands, one for a flight, and I'm guessing one for basic combat, chopping, and if he actually had a Zandium Beam effect set, which, unfortunately, he's one of the few heroes to not have a blast effect thus far. Here we have S.H.Figuarts Ultraman X out of the packaging, and one can obviously see he is one of the most immaculate Ultramen to date. I gotta say, one thing that really helps stand out for this suit to figure is the cool plating for his breastplate, the cool cybernetic, I guess you would say 16, 18-bit kind of blended mesh to make him a very cybernetic Ultraman. I really like his weird digital design throughout the entire torso, throughout his entire, actual body, shading between reds and silvers and grays and bits of blacks here and there. In the show, it seemed a lot more darker, where, seeing it in broad daylight or just seeing it on the figure art, it's more of a charcoal, where at times in the show, like I did say, I thought it was a black. I really do love, a lot of the accents and details just from the legs to the upper torso. Like I said, it reminds me of very, symphonic techno and, kind of 16 and 8-bit kind of designs for gaming in some areas, in some regards, because it's pixelated, it has cool designs and features running throughout the entire bodysuit. And like I said, one of the other things that makes his suit stand out the most is the entire breastplate for his color timer, having a nice jeweled X. You have these weird little plates in the front. I don't know what the heck these are supposed to be. I think in the show it was supposed to be an idea to be more of a metallic armoring plating for him and to make him kind of fit in with the whole aesthetic of being a more modern hero, a more modern take on the franchise, as well as he has a weird, I guess you would say graded abs. It looks something almost on the top of a hood of a car. It just looks like a muscle car for his abs, which makes him kind of look really cool. It doesn't also help that he has these weird headphone pieces, so it's just really awesome. I like the whole headphone aesthetic in his head. It really makes him look like he's kind of ghetto, kind of badass, kind of urban. He's one of these weird styles of an Ultraman where I don't know if this is supposed to be their take on Daft Punk or what. Because, you got, cool cybernetic look. You have, the weird, grilled out abs. And then you have headphones, Beats by Dre. Come on now, fam. This is, the coolest idea ever. I also really do love the accents to his, actual fins on his head. You got some red and you got gray. It really blends in real well. I really do like the aesthetic of having, these 3 fins. You have the basic one that goes right up the helmet to be a Rocketeer kind of helmet, and then you have these 2 little ones out the sides of his head. It just looks really nice. It adds to, a real nice design. He has the base Ultraman face in the center, so, there's not too much of a difference, at least facial-wise or facial recognition to say he's not an Ultraman. And then you have, like I said, all the other features here, like the reds and silvers. but it's a new spin. It's a new take on the overall concept of what an Ultraman is, even in the back of his weird, more like jagged kind of frill or fin on his back. Now, for the points of articulation, it's pretty standard to what you have for a normal figure art. You have your hips, which are really cool and different. I don't think these are natural hips that we've seen too often on the molds of how they glisten and glide inwards, as well as they kind of wear on the overall thigh material on the upper area here, because this one's a little bent now from when I was bending it around and rotating it. But overall, you got your thigh swivel, you got your knee joint, you got your ankle on a ball joint, and you got your actual toe joint. You got your ab crunch here, you got your cool little shoulder joint, you got an actual shoulder pad, which sort of moves and sort of is hinged. You got a bicep swivel, you got elbow, so you got that, and you got a wrist, and you got your basic head articulation to go up and go side to side, and got a neck. So, you know, you can do all your basic Ultraman poses. So overall, you got a pretty cool bitchin' ass suit turned into a Figuarts form to have as a collector's piece, a mantelpiece, or just mitten box if you choose to do so. And overall, you can't really hate on it. Now, starting off with the Gomora Armor, you have the claws. So the claws themselves have amazing metallic blues, dark blues, and silvers running throughout the entire piece, whether it be your left or your right. And one thing I do like is the hinge here to help you actually insert the forearm as well as the wrist joint to accurately plug it in. Had it just been one static piece where you couldn't unhinge it, I think a lot of people would end up breaking the wrists off the joint, since I believe that was a common issue with the birth add-on parts back during O's for Kamen Rider. So you got your claws, really nice, really cool, and straight into the point. Then we have the shoulder pads. Now the shoulder pads still pretty much the same when it comes to colors for Cyber Gomora, but we have inside the bit of the hinge joint that will slide into your shoulder, as well as the ventilation area for where like energy exhausts off of it, as well as a reference to the actual horns on its head curving backwards. So you can always tell which is your right by how the point goes and which is your left by where it curves. So if the curves are facing forwards, you probably have them backwards. If they're facing back, you got them in the right direction. So right here, this is how they'll look once we have them on our figure. Then we have the front, the breastplate of the Gomora Armor, which is one giant gold X through a base silver breastplate with a little bit of blue accents. On the back is the area where you will end up tabbing it into your torso and connecting it to the back part. Now these little tabs right down here are where you actually put the, I guess you would say, straps on the lower abdomen area when you connect it to your back, which is right here. This is the back plate. I really like the skeletal design of the overall back plate. It's one of the most alluring things I like about the Cyber Gomora Armor is the whole actual back and spinal area, as well as the coils that hook to your front. I also like the giant broad collar, and I think that the way that this hooks together is a little rickety and could cause breakage on your overall figure, but honestly, it's still rather sturdy since you have parts that connect to your base figure and parts that connect to one another. Now for assembly, we are going to need to pull the shoulders off the joint, which are a little tight, so do it very carefully. Pull it off. Take your color timer out if it wants to come out. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do it because it's actually on 3 or 4 different pins, which is a pain. I got mine out right away, as you can see. And then take out the back. So pretty much once you do this, you can start actually plugging in the parts to accurately display the Gomora Armor. Alright, so it's evaluation time, and for my final evaluation, S.H.Figuarts Ultraman X and the Gomora Armor set is actually a pretty nice pair once you have the two together. Now, you can display X without the armor, and it'll still be an elegant, amazing figure based on your base Ultraman, but throwing on the Gomora Armor set is that little added bonus of the whole idea, gimmick, and aspect of the overall show, using the Cyber cards and the Cyber Kaiju armors to power up X and Daichi. One thing I do like about it is really the nice metallic colors on the overall armor and the base figure for its base silver-esque suit, I really like this cyber digital techno age that the show bodied and envisioned. I'm just a little annoyed that it never had an actual Gridman crossover, because it was something I thought the show could have done. One thing, though, that I do hate about this is there is no Zamdium Beam effect, and it makes me disgruntled knowing that since Bandai isn't really into doing armor effect sets anymore for Figuarts, I doubt we're getting anything like King or Bemstar or any of the other parts to even have for display purposes or to make the conglomerate form seen in the finale. However, they could surprise me nevertheless, as well as give us the needed effect sets for the Super Obsolation Wave or Obsculation Wave that Gomora fires or this armor allows X to fire. So hopefully, maybe they'll consider it giving us the other armors and the necessary effects to recreate X's attacks or X and his armor attacks. Overall, I think this is a wonderful figure that a lot of Ultraman fans will want to get, since X was the, I guess, baby's first new Ultraman. Since it was simulcast on Crunchyroll, so many new fans came flocking to the franchise, and I gotta give it to people. X is a show that you'll enjoy, because it's pretty much a mix of the Showa era, the early Heisei era, and the New Generations era of Bandai says, hey, we need to put a toy gimmick in every frickin' show. So, you'll be able to find this Figuart at several retailers, like Ami Ami, Hobby Link Japan, and, Hero Club's sponsor and affiliate, CS Toys. And if you did like this review, or you just like Ultraman X, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and check me out here on Twitter, or at my website, heroclub.com. I'll see you all next time with another brand spanking new rolling review and or Doyle's DVDs, if I decide to bring that back from hiatus yet again.